Welcome everybody to the Mixing Matters podcast. I'm DJ Adam Dutch, joined by DJ Sway, and today we have a very special guest. He is the owner of Elite Entertainment out of New Jersey. He has another DJ podcast called the PhDJ podcast. Please welcome Mike Walter.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thanks for having me on. DJ Sway, how are you?
Hanging in there, brother. Doing best I can.
Good. Have we ever met? I don't know if we have. I know I've met Adam at the convention at the DJ Expo, but have we ever met?
Yeah, I've gone past few years. I think we hung out maybe a couple times.
So
Were you at the last one?
I was there last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was doing a little research before I came on, and I've looked up DJ Sway on Facebook, and there is a smoking hot DJ from India named DJ Sway, and I'm like, oh, am I going to be chatting with her? But it turns out,
you were extra excited when Adam said that we were doing a video podcast.
And then I found out it was some dude in Maryland, and I'm like, all right, I'll chat with them too. So anyway, how are you?
And that brings us to the question everybody's wondering right now, Mike, and that's, are we going to see DJ Expo this year?
You know, I'm an eternal optimist, so yes, I actually think I'll be doing events before the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. I was originally saying June, and I don't believe that's the case anymore, but I think I'll do a wedding in July or latest mid-August. And yeah, I think the expo will not only take place, but I think it'll be a banger because so many other DJ educational opportunities have been canceled this year. Mobile Beat got canceled. Midwest DJs Live. I believe that Robbie Britton's probably going to have to cancel his. So I think by August, assuming that we're safe to be let out, if you will, I think everyone's going to be so pent up that, I think it'll happen, and I think it'll be a huge convention.
Yeah, fortunately, I couldn't go last year because I had like 5 gigs that week, and there's just insane booking. But I think if we do go this year, we're going to see some new seminars that would pop up, like how to deal with disaster relief.
Well, yeah. Listen, I think one of the biggest things we're all learning is if you didn't have any kind of nest egg put aside, then you're scrambling right now. I mean, fortunately, I have some money in the bank, and Elite Entertainment has some money in the bank. So, you know, while things are tight and a little bit desperate, we're nowhere near going out of business. But I think some people who live paycheck to paycheck are kind of discovering that's not the greatest way to go through life.
Yeah, I was listening to one of your podcast episodes, and this one was you recorded on like March 18th. This is about a month ago, and the interesting topic.
What stupid things did I say then?
Well, the really big topic. You're one of the first guests. We've been doing this podcast for a little over 2 years, and you're one of the few that actually has a multi-op. So you're dealing with multi DJs and budgeting and multiple events, and there's a difference between postponing events and canceling events. Can you talk about that?
Difference. Yeah. So, I mean, the few clients that have chosen to cancel, and they have been very few, more than 90%, probably closer to 95% have postponed, which is fine. You just deposit, you move it to the new date. That's what we're doing anyway. No change fees, no additional fees, no nothing. If they can get their original DJ, great. If not, we basically let them pick from whoever else is available on staff. So that's an easy transition. The few people that are canceling, you know, we explain to them, look, we're not in a position to return deposits. Your contract says deposits are non-refundable. And I understand this is a horrible situation, but we will keep your deposit as a credit. If you decide in the future to have an event, great. And if not, then you've lost your deposit. But I am in no position, believe me, I'm pretty tight right now. Financially, we're in no position to be returning deposits. And clients have been okay with that. I've gotten one letter from a lawyer that I gave to my lawyer, and my lawyer said, I don't think they have a case, so let's see how far they take this, and we haven't heard back. So the letter was probably a scare tactic, and so far, so good. So
yeah, I had one incident where I had to deal with that, and this was a birthday party, so not a wedding, and I basically said we could apply your, I say not refundable deposit in my contract. I said, well, I could refund the part of the full payment, but I'll keep this, and if we decide to do this next year or when we can, we could apply it there. What we're seeing, of course, a lot of weddings are doing the postpone where the people still want to get married. Just what kind of party they're going to have. Are they going to have a party that's 150 guests, 200 guests like they originally had in their dreams, or we're going to see them, when we do go back to having things open, have a party of 20 to 50 people, whatever the government decides to allow?
I think it's going to be a combination of both. I think some people are going to want to get married sooner rather than later. And so if they have to do a smaller reception for 20 or 30. You know, initially we were seeing most of our postponements punt, if you will, to a couple months. But the last few weeks, we've seen now a lot of clients move to basically the same date next year or the same weekend next year. So we're seeing like a lot of June 20s move to June 21. We're allowing it because I understand, but that's also going to hurt us next year because those are deposits now we can't take for next year, you know.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So going back on the deposit scenario, I've talked to a lot of DJs that have a clause that says if there's some sort of catastrophic event beyond everyone's control, you're allowed to move the event and keep the deposit, or in some cases get a full refund. So do you have language that deals with catastrophic events, and how do you?
I think we have some kind of act of God clause.
That's called a force majeure, by the way.
Yeah, and as my lawyer and I've seen other lawyers point out that this is definitely a situation where you can't get married in this time frame, but it doesn't mean you can't get married later. And since the vast majority of clients are postponing instead of canceling, it shows me that postponements are a viable option. So if you choose not to do that, I understand. Believe me, you know, my wife and I got married 7 years ago. If this had happened a month before we were going to get married, we were thinking about eloping anyway. We might have just said, fuck it. This isn't worth it. Let's elope, or let's do something small. Let's do a destination. Let's do whatever. But I would have completely understood. Now, maybe this is part of because I'm in the business, but I would have understood that whatever deposits we had given at that point were lost. So I think clients need to be understanding about this. By the way, I see you have a cat there. I'm raising your cat with my.
Yeah, you see, Sway has a little, was it German Shepherd back there behind you?
Oh, okay. So we're outnumbering. We got 1 cat to 3 dogs.
Well, I got 4 of them right here. They just come in different.
You have 4 cats?
Yeah, and I live in a beach condo, so it's like one for every.
God. Wow.
Makes my life interesting. What are you doing in the current situation in terms of booking future events? Are you getting clients reaching out to you, and not just current ones that have to reschedule their event, but ones, let's say, getting married in 2021?
We are. I mean, the number of leads are way down, and the number of bookings are way down. But there is still incoming deposits and incoming leads. So yeah, I mean, I just spoke to a client, and as I told you when we got on this call, I have a 6 o'clock sales call, so this can't go past an hour. I had a 2 o'clock sales call this afternoon, and she said, send me a contract. So I don't consider it booked until she gives me a deposit, but it sounds like I closed that one. So yeah, I mean, we're not getting anywhere near what we would be for this time of year, but at least we still have some income coming in.
And I know you mentioned this, I think it was one of the seminars you know before, but about how many events does your company do a year?
So DJ-wise, we do just under 1,000. We also have a photo and a video division. So all total, we do about 1,300 events a year. But DJ, we're a little under 1,000 events. And last year, I think 600 and change were weddings. So about 2/3 of our business is weddings.
Okay. And how far out right now are you getting the kind of pandemic? Because I think you mentioned earlier you had that chamber wedding. They were paying in full, but are you getting like people with Christmas parties canceling at this moment?
Well, we have very few Christmas parties even booked at this point. We find most of our Christmas parties book in the Labor Day to Columbus Day window. Most of our holiday, and maybe that's us because we promote that. We usually send a mass email out right after Labor Day and say, hey, do you want to rebook us, this year? So we only have a handful of holiday events on the calendar. None of them have moved. I think the latest wedding that has wanted to postpone at this point is October, and we've allowed them to postpone. At this point, what we're getting more than anything is questions about postponement. August, September, and October, these couples are starting to get a little concerned, and so they just want to know what their options are and what their policy is. Say, guys, I'm podcasting, no barking. But, there was a situation last week that kind of showed me how nobody has any clue about what's going on. We had a June bride move to August, and on the very same day, an August bride moved to November. And I let them both move, and I accommodated both of them, but it kind of showed me like we have no idea what's going on, because here's a June bride who thinks, okay, 2 months later it'll be safe to have my wedding, and here's an August bride that's like, I got to get away from August. So, and I couldn't blame either one of them, because we really don't know, you know.
Yeah, sure. I feel like they're changing. Of course, it's a state by state, but their states just changing every single day. So what we heard of the news a week ago may not even apply right now.
Right. Like, for example, when are you going to drop this podcast?
I'm dropping this in 2 days. Maybe even tomorrow, because
and even then, whatever we say today could be outdated by, you know, one of our states could extend stay at home or pull it back. Who knows? So yeah, I mean,
maybe I should get this out tonight then.
I think New Jersey is May 18th. I think is our date, and the governor said today that he's thinking of extending it, but he hasn't definitely. You're in where, Adam? Delaware?
I'm in Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay, Maryland. So
yeah. I live 1 mile from the Delaware border, so the Delaware beaches still affect me. And Delaware says May 15th, and they're already canceled the 4th of July events. Wow. We're a little more relaxed in Maryland, where the Governor Hogan hasn't given a official date to anything yet. However, Delaware has already pushed its restrictions, and I'm going to be affected by that and affected by Maryland at the same time. And if Delaware closes earlier, we may even see those tourists come here just because things are open.
Right. Well, and that's one of the problems if it's not a nationwide decision that's made, or even, you know, like I saw one mayor in New Jersey talking about if they leave it up to the townships, if he opens his beach, he thinks he'd be fine. But if the neighboring beaches don't open, then his beach is going to get overwhelmed, because he's going to have people 5 miles away saying, well, my beach is closed, but this beach is open, so they're going to be going there. So, it needs to be a broader decision made. I mean, you're not that far that, like, if you guys opened and we stayed closed, we could drive down to Delaware if we wanted to. So,
I mean, funny enough, I have another podcast tonight that's a quarantine coronavirus podcast. So we actually have one of the mayors from our towns coming as a special guest for that. So,
oh wow,
I'll try to cover all my bases right now.
Yeah. So, do you do more clubs than privates?
Yes, I'm about 95% clubs. So I usually do 6 to 8 gigs a week in clubs in the summertime, because I'm in a beach town, it's bread and butter season, and everything as of now is at a standstill. I've already lost thousands of dollars since we had a St. Patrick's Day weekend here. That was my last weekend of working, because the Monday after that, all bars and restaurants had shut down to carry out orders. So there went all DJ work, there went all bartenders, creators, there went all servers. Everything was just out the door. And I feel better about this if someone actually said we can open up by Memorial Day, which I don't think is going to happen at this point. But there's just,
you make so much money in the summertime that even though you've lost a lot now, and that was one of the things Joe and I talked about on the PhDJ podcast. The fact that he and I, the vast majority of our income is weddings that are going to postpone. It's like we're still going to make this income; it'll just be shifted to late in the year or next year. But yeah, I mean, for you, those dates are gone, and I feel bad. Sway, are you in the same situation? Are you more of a club guy than a private party guy?
I do maybe 40% nightlife, 40% private. I also do fitness events. So unfortunately, the gyms and the dance studios are also closed, just like the clubs.
Have you shifted some of that to online though? Are you doing any online stuff?
I actually just did one yesterday. I recorded a mix, and it's obviously not the same amount of money, but it's
are you a
take anything
trainer,
we can at this point.
You're saying you DJ for clubs, for health clubs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So fitness centers, a lot of these boutique workout studios that do like circuit training or dance cardio will have DJs that will spin live, and
it's a cool gig.
It's nice. I mean, it's the kind of gig you're not going to get any other time. 8, 9 a.m. in the morning on like a Saturday. It's good to throw in with everything else. But nowadays, like you said, everyone's going virtual. So virtual, either supplying mixes to these instructors that want to have a DJ mix that they play, or maybe those. I've been lucky enough to get a few happy hour gigs where a group of friends will just book me for power hour, and I spin jams while they hang out with friends and family on like Zoom conferencing, like we're doing now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm sure it's not great money, but at least it's something coming in, right?
Yeah, I think now is a good time for DJs to decide how long they want to wait this out, assuming that all their income is still going to be DJing? Because like you said, hopefully most of us have a rainy day fund, but we don't know if this is going to be in 1 month longer or literally the rest of the year.
Yeah, most financial people will tell you to have a 1 month reserve. Most people don't have a 6 month reserve. Yeah, minimum, right. But when people hear that, they go, okay, 1 month, so that means add up my rent, my utilities, everything else, 1 month, whatever that figure is, put it in the bank, which is good. But this could go on for months and months and months. And at that point, we start getting into how deep is everyone's pockets, you know?
Mike, were you affected by prom season at all? Speaking of virtual, because I'm seeing more of these high schools do
we don't do a ton of proms. The few proms that we had on the books, the schools were very understanding. They're not expecting deposits back. They'll put the deposit towards next year. So, but it didn't. That's a very small part of my business. So,
all right, because I saw some news report today where they said well, there's a DJ in the DC area named Chris Dowse who was marketing a virtual prom, open invite for people. It was a real creative marketing move. But I saw this news presentation today where they said like some of these schools are doing virtual proms that like their high school gym teachers the DJ now, play on Spotify or something. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's not going to be a trend that continues after we can have actual physical events.
No, you know what, Adam? And this is just me being an optimist again. I think a couple schools do that, and they'll realize how important the DJ is. Because when you got some professor spinning on a Spotify playlist, you and I, all three of us know that's going to be a train wreck. The kids aren't going to have fun. And then they'll go, oh, so that's what that DJ has been adding to this event all these years. So yeah, I'm again, maybe that's just me trying to spin it positively, but I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah, Sway and I have been discussing some of our philosophies and theories about what's going to happen after all the regulations are lifted and we can go back to having fun. Are people going to respect the DJ more now, or are they just going to keep yelling at us for requests and treating us like crap?
Yeah, see, that's more of a nightclub thing or nightlife thing than I don't really have that situation at weddings. I mean, is there the random drunk uncle every once in a while? Yes, but for the vast majority of people who approach my equipment are polite, are nice. They ask me for a song. If I can get to it, great. But if it's like, for example, if it's on the bride's no list and I say, sorry, I'm not going to get to that tonight, most of them are cool about it. Every once in a while I get a dickish response, but it's rare. So I haven't spun in clubs in long enough that I don't even really remember that kind of interaction with people. Like I see, Sway, what does your shirt say? Request $3, play it next, $5, play it next.
But it's stupid.
Let's see, we got different levels.
Stupid is 100.
That's right.
So what would qualify?
But now we're all live streaming and giving requests for free now.
True, right. What would qualify as a stupid song?
Well, let's say it's peak hour at a club at 12:15 in the morning, and someone asks for you to play a fucking Disney song.
Okay, so but you'll do it for $100.
I believe it or not, I've gotten more than once.
Wow, and you would do it at that point for $100, or is your shirt a lie?
Well,
if it's gonna get fired, then no.
There's another meme I saw, and it's like the Indiana Jones where he's like grabbing the treasure and it shows the treasure and he's looking at it like this, like he's not sure if he wants to grab it, and it says song requests, and then you see he grabs a blanket and puts it over the treasure and it says the remix version.
So for some more fun, Mike, what are some of the most odd gig incidences you've ever had at any location?
What are the best what?
Like odd circumstances or weirdest things you've seen at performances?
Well, it's funny, this $100 for a stupid request reminds me of a story. Many years ago, I was doing a wedding, and when I met with the couple in advance, the groom said, please don't play Cheeseburger in Paradise. He didn't give me a reason why. He just had that on his no list. And I was like, sure, no problem. So I get to the event, and from the very beginning of the night, somebody came up. Hey, can you play Cheeseburger in Paradise? And I was like, no, I can't. Somebody else. And finally I caught on. The groom was a little bit portly, not humongous, but he was a little overweight. And apparently his friends, that was a song they played for him to bust his balls.
Nice.
And that's why he didn't want on the list. So
I was
a
going to
guy
ask.
comes-
I was like, that's such an obscure,
right? It's kind of an
request.
odd. And you know what, Sway? I probably should have asked in the review. So what's the significance? But I didn't. So whatever. But so at some point in the night, a guy comes up to me, you know, and you could tell he thought who the hell he was. Like, he was really important. He comes up, he goes, "Play Cheeseburger in Paradise." I go, "I'm not going to do it." He puts a 50 on my equipment. He goes, "Play it." I go, "I'm not going to play it." He puts another 50 on my equipment. So now there's $100 in there. He goes, "Play the song." And I go, "Sir, I'm not going to play it." So he picks up the $100. He goes, "You're loyal, man. I want you to work for me." Whatever. But so then a few minutes later, the groom comes over, and apparently all of his friends were going to him now and saying, "The DJ won't play." So he goes, "You know what, Mike? Just fuck it. Play the song." And I said, "No." I said, "I just turned down $100. I am not playing that fucking song." And he said, "You turned down $100?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Then don't play it." So I wound up not playing
Nice.
Cheeseburger. But your $100 T-shirt reminded me of that story. Yeah.
Well, you know, Mike, that's a prime great example of some customer service right there, which I want you to kind of go into, because Sway and I we'll have some DJs working for us outside of like, "Oh, hey, cover this gig for me." So this is your normal like operations of your company. Can you talk to us a little bit more about customer service that DJs can provide?
Customer service is one of the things I instill in my staff from day one. We are the type of DJs who we listen to our clients. We want to personalize every event for the clients, you know, for their vision of their wedding. And one of the ways we do that is we're going to help you select the right DJ. So if you come to me, if a client comes to us and says, "Hey, we want somebody very outgoing and very interactive and leading a lot of line dance," great. We have a couple DJs that fit that bill. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if they say, "Look, we don't want interaction. We don't want to hear from the MC much. We really just want a nightclub kind of feel, great music," great. We have DJs that can fit that bill. But then once we meet with our clients a month in advance and they tell us what they want to hear and also what they don't want to hear, we adhere to those lists as much as we physically can. One of the only ways we can't sometimes is if somebody gives us like 150 requests. We just physically can't get to all those during the wedding. But, you know, if you tell us there's a song you don't want to hear, you ain't going to hear it at your wedding, no matter what. Even if sometimes I think, God damn, that song would be perfect right now, I'm not going to play it if it's on your no list.
Well, that $100 tip would be perfect right now.
You know what? Nowadays, things are kind of tight. I might have made a different decision about Cheeseburger in Paradise. But that time, I guess things were a little better.
And
So
what's
I see these companies that have like these portals or database systems and apps where the client fills out the entire, like, you know, songs that you want for this section, that section. It seems to be like software based nowadays. Is that something that we use
a program called DJ Event Planner, which one of the things I love about it is everything is online. All of our information is stored online, and that has been such a big help these last few weeks. I've got basically 2 full-time people plus myself. We're still on salary. We're still running Elite Entertainment. But obviously, everybody's working from home, so everybody can access the same information. If I make a change to a contract, Lynn can see it instantly in real time, vice versa, all that. But yeah, part of that is we have a planner portal for our clients. So once they sign up, they get a username and password, and they can put in their bridal party names. They can put in their special songs. They can put in their requests. They can tell us which songs they can tell us must play if possible, or do not play. So, and then my DJs can see that on our end when we meet with the clients a month in advance. We have access to all the information they put in. So yeah, I think that that's a huge time saver and organizer for our clients.
Yeah, I believe in one of the podcast episodes you were mentioning a groom who actually complimented you on having this technology available, where it made things so much easier to do this online.
Yeah, that was just one example. We have tons of clients who give us reviews, and they often mention the online planner as just a big time saver. There's a number of different types of online planners out there. Some of them you type in your information, and then you have to print it out because it doesn't save it. But with DJ Event Planner, it saves your information. So if a bride puts that information in 6 months ago, and then she revisits it today, all of the information she put in there 6 months ago is still in there.
Because you know that top 40 is going to change. There's always going to be some new hit song coming out that the bride
And you know
wants.
what? I'll give you a good example of that. A number of months ago, I met with a client, and we were going through her music, and she had an R. Kelly song in there. I forget which one. And so in today's day and age, with with the news that has come out about him, I simply just asked. I said, "Oh, I noticed you have an R. Kelly song. Do you want me to play that?" And she goes, "I do." She goes, "Oh, I must have put that in months ago before the documentary." She goes, "No, take that out." So yeah, I mean, it was good of me to bring that up instead of just playing it carte blanche. But yeah, that was a situation where she had put that information in months and months ago. Then the documentary came out, and it kind of changed things.
Yeah, I have a similar story about that because I used to work for a company who used DJ Intelligence, which is a similar program. And on the Bride's Bus playlist was Shout by some band I had never heard of before. I look it up on YouTube. This video had like 1,300 likes. Now I'm thinking, this is really obscure.
Why would you want that version?
Yeah, I messaged her. I said, just check it. Did you really want this song? She said, no, I meant to put the regular like Shout version that everybody plays at weddings, the Ozzy Brothers. Right. So that was an example of catching something like that.
See, now it's funny you say the Isley Brothers because I've always played the Animal House version, and I prefer that. Mm-hmm. I think it's better. But yeah, Joe, that's one of the Joe Bun and I disagree on that. I think he does the Isley Brothers version. I'm pretty sure. Sway, do you have a preference of Shout version?
Otis, you said you play Otis.
Otis
you
Day.
Play Otis Day instead.
Yeah.
I think they're both good. I've accidentally played Otis Day, even though I think Isley Brothers is more popular, and the crowd literally dances the exact same way. So
yeah,
doesn't really matter.
It's probably one of those things we give a lot more thought to.
I think though there's something to be said about making sure that people get what they. Yeah, but it's also something to keep in mind because maybe you hear like a cool redrum or a remix. And at the end of the day, with like a regular basic crowd, it's a lot better just to give them the radio version.
Yeah, I think sometimes as DJs, we might play a remix that we specifically like, but that it changes it too much, and that your average dancer on the dance floor is like, I don't recognize this version. I don't know why he's playing this. So yeah, I when I look for a remix that I'm going to play at an event, it needs to stay really true to the original, or else I'm not interested in it. And I don't want hype men on my. Now that might be a nightclub thing where you want hype men.
It was a nightclub thing probably about 10, 15 years ago with Fat Man Scoop. But
well, then why are they still making remixes with hype men?
I honestly think it's a regional thing because I think in some of these cities, like these people expect that kind of engagement where you have MC yell and everybody put their hands up still.
Right.
Not here where I'm at. I haven't played that in a while. Maybe Texas, where live dances come out every single week. Detroit, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some remixes I have that I literally have a skip point to get past the hype man to get to the actual part of the song because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's where the cue points come heavily important.
God, I
thank
love
God for cue points in Serato.
Yeah, I use cue points
so
constantly. Are we all Serato on this call?
Yeah, always.
Serato? Yeah.
Yep.
Sway, you had a question?
Yeah, so I just touching on remixes again. I think it's kind of the opposite between private parties and nightlife venues where if a DJ plays too many remixes, the private party is going to say he doesn't know what he's doing. And if you go into a nightclub and all you do is play like the iTunes version of every song on the radio, the crowd's going to say that the DJ was boring.
Totally agree. Yeah, nightclub crowds tend to be more adventurous, if you want to use that word, and want to be taken down a different path. Whereas your private party guests, I assume anyway, that most of the events at my weddings, most of the guests at my weddings aren't still going to nightclubs. Some of them might be, but most of them probably aren't. So I need to be I need to walk down the middle of the lane, whereas in a nightclub, you guys can get a lot more adventurous.
Mike, I have a great first DJ experience with a multi-up wedding story for you because what you just said kind of triggered something. This is 2011. It was a June wedding with this company, and there was a tropical storm that came by like the night before at this like golf course venue, wipes out the whole power for the place. They managed to get the power back on, but then the air conditioner is broken, and it's 99 degrees. And the power in the room was actually out. The lights in like the lobby were on, but the lights in the actual banquet hall were off. So they had to run a power generator through the parking lot, through the kitchen to me.
Wow.
The room is meant for about 80 people. I want to say it was 120 people, a wedding guest. The bride looks absolutely miserable. Everyone's sweating bullets.
Right.
And they're like using candles for light up. But this girl comes up to me while I'm playing like Bruno Mars or something. It says, "Can you play dubstep?" I was like, "No, like this is like really for the club right now. Like I got a bunch of older people on the floor right now." But after I got through that wedding, the company said to me, "Well, if you get through all that fucking shit and you got through with that one, we know you can work for us."
You can do anything. Yeah. That's being thrown to the wolves right there.
Well, me being in that club life, like I get these clients who hire me because I can mix and like I have all the cool remixes and stuff. But that is a conversation I have with them. I say, "Well, how hard do you want me to get? Like, do you want me to keep your grandmother on the dance floor all night, or do you want me to appease them for the first hour and so, and then like last hour we'll party with all the young kids?"
Right.
What kind of communication are you having regularly, not during this epidemic, but after they fill out the planning forms and before the actual event? What kind of communication do you do? You like do a venue walkthrough with them, or do you have a final meeting or anything?
It's usually a face-to-face meeting. Obviously, this pandemic is changing that. Not that we have any upcoming weddings to plan for right now, but we encourage face-to-face. If clients are too far from our office or too far from the DJ, sometimes that's impossible. In which case, this type of technology, either a Zoom call or a phone call, is the good substitute. But I'd say most of the clients we meet with face-to-face, and that's usually about a month prior to the wedding.
So, do you have a question? You look confused down there.
No, I'm just trying to catch up to everything. My internet's pretty spotty down here, so.
All right, what are you like? Your basement, right?
No, it's not that. Normally, it's pretty good. Same place as our last episode we did, but it was raining a lot today, and so internet's been going out.
Okay. Mike, we talked a lot about client relationships, but what are you doing with communication-wise with other vendors and venues at the moment?
I made a joke to somebody recently that one of the few silver linings of this whole thing has been I've been networking with the people who recommend us now more than ever. I'm constantly emailing, just checking in with all the people who recommend us. How are you doing? How's your health? How's your sanity? How's this? How's that? My text message, is blowing up sometimes from banquet people texting me saying, "Hey, can we chat? Help me through this. I want, let's talk about this one client we have that's being a bitch," that type of thing. So, there's not a lot of silver linings that I'm finding, but that's one of them I've got pretty much increased communication with the people who recommend us.
And you say you do have the video and the photo booth as well. Are you just operating that kind of the same the way you are the DJ side right now? Because obviously you can't really put a photo booth at an event that doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretty much all these things have been postponed. We have a photography division and a video division. I just moved a couple today. They were supposed to get married in June, and they moved their wedding to New Year's Day, January 1st. So it was one of those situations. The photographer who was on the job had New Year's Day blocked off. So I contacted her and she said, "Of course, yeah, put me on it. I'll be happy to open up the date." Same thing with the videographer on the day. So, my staff is being as accommodating as possible. New Year's Day is probably a day that some people would rather not work. It's a holiday. You work the late night the night before, take the day off. But here's the situation. And I'm finding that almost across the board with my staff that they're willing to make exceptions to accommodate and try to make things a little bit easier for these couples.
What other trends do you think we're going to see after this? So are we going to see more people start doing because they have to get their event done in a reasonable time after this is finished, such as more Sunday weddings or midweek work?
Well, I think again, if you want to look for silver linings and be optimistic, a lot of our events have moved to Thursday nights. A lot of these events that are moving to later in the year, they've had to take a Thursday night or a Sunday night or something like that. And hopefully people will go to a Thursday night wedding and have a great time and realize, you know what, this is an alternative. I mean, we've all, maybe not you, Adam, because you do so many nightclubs, but I know most people in the private party industry wish there were more than one Saturday night a week, right? Because you can book yourself 20 times on a Saturday, and then the rest of the week you're like, I wish I had more leads. So if we could take some work and spread it out a little bit more, and Thursday nights became more of a viable option, that would be a good thing. So maybe coming out of this, people will go to a few midweek weddings and realize, oh yeah, this is a good option, you know. I'm pulling at straws, man. I'm just trying to stay positive.
Yeah, well, I find that's best for our sanity.
Anything in particular that's making you believe besides?
No, nothing.
Hey, so Mike, besides your optimism.
No, just my optimism. And believe me, that is getting tested over and over in the last few weeks. But I'm not letting it go. I might be the last one down on the ship going, no, I still believe. But yeah, I'm just trying to cling to it. You know, I think it got instilled in me years and years ago that I would much rather be optimistic about something than pessimistic. I don't like to be around pessimistic people, so I don't want to become one myself. I'm not going to become jaded by this thing.
Yeah, I found that for me, actually working on non-DJ related things has been the most helpful. For instance, I'm doing some band work. I'm doing a lot of production mixing. I've been studying some fields that I've never dabbled into before, such as science and other things. Just kind of, I'm not going to have this opportunity, hopefully, when I'm gigging 7 days a week come summertime. Might as well get it in now, and best skill sets. There's no excuse for any DJs to not learn at least a little bit of graphic design right now to make flyers and update websites and all kinds of things like that.
I think that's a great alternative. I think if DJs find themselves with a ton of time on their hands and they're sitting on the couch watching Tiger King, they're wasting their time. You know what I mean? Utilize this time to do something like that. I'm in better shape now than I've been in the last 20 years because I'm dedicating 90 minutes a morning to working out. I usually don't have that kind of time, and let's face it, I probably would, but I just don't, set it aside. But now it's clear that I have that kind of time. So I'm coming down the basement here. I got my life cycle and my weights, and I'm getting myself in shape. I feel like I'm training for September because I have so many events that have moved to September. I need to be in tip-top shape if I'm going to get through that month. So that's my main focus right now.
Hey, speaking of Tiger King, I'm kind of disappointed in the lack of remixes and mashups that I've seen in some of these record pools with Tiger King songs on it.
So get to work on one, Adam.
Yeah, well, I was trying to do say that bitch Carol Baskin with the Here Kitty Kitty and I the Tiger, but it was out of key. So, Mike, I promised I get you out here in 45 minutes. We're at that mark.
Anything you want potential to it?
Yeah, Mike, anything you want to plug?
Well, listen, any DJs out there, if you're not familiar with the PhDJ podcast, hop on. We'd love to have you as a new listener. And if you're interested in any products that I offer, go to djmikewalter.com.
Excellent. That'll be in the show notes as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Continue to health and happiness, all right?
You too.
Later.